welcome to the big show. This is episode, what are we, at 8, 9, something or
something
other?
Like that.
Dim lights and stiff drinks, dive bars of Seattle. We are interested in juke joints, roadhouses, taverns, drinking establishments that have long, interesting history, and hopefully a seedy backstory that we can get into. We're not just talking about these places and dive bars in the Seattle area and the quiet confines of some crappy home studio somewhere.
Hell no.
No. Nope. We are recording on location in the actual establishment. We are visiting. We are here. We're making the places the bad decisions and future regrets are made so you don't have to. As with me, I got Bob the producer on my left.
Hey now.
Sweet Lou on my right, and across from me, Stash Panda Brad.
Hello.
And this episode, we are coming to you from the historic, infamous Zoo Tavern on Eastlake, just north of downtown, like Lake Union kind of area.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that a little bit more.
Cue the animal sounds.
Yeah,
The zoo,
You're going to hear. The zoo has a brilliant game room, and you'll hear some skee ball.
We got a lot of crap going in the background.
Yeah,
a lot of crap.
Video games fired
This
up
is
later.
some good stuff. And we're going to get into that.
Shuffleboard.
Yeah, we're going to get into that, like where we are, why we're here. There's all sorts of cool stuff to unpack with this episode.
Indeed,
so,
there
Brad, why don't you kick us off with a little bit of history of the Zoo Tavern
All
here
right.
on historic Eastlake Avenue in northern Seattle.
Okay, so the building that we're in right now was actually built in 1902 and originally served as a neighborhood market called Heinz Public Market. And apparently somewhere in here, I haven't found it yet, they have the original sign for Heinz Market somewhere in the tavern itself. So I'm determined before we leave
That's a
to
Where's
find
Waldo kind of shit right there.
It's kind of a Where's
What
Waldo
did
thing.
they sell at the Heinz Market?
It was like a grocery store, neighborhood grocery store.
Okay.
The market operated for a number of years until 1934 when it became a tavern. You know, this is one of those, I feel like a lot of the bars we've visited so far opened in 1934 right after Prohibition was repealed.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's
Yeah.
kind of
Trend.
becoming a recurring theme,
Yep,
and this is one of
trend.
them.
The Duchess was the exact
Yeah.
same story.
Oh yeah. So when it first opened as a tavern, I believe it was known as Joe's Place, and then it went through a series of name changes and different owners over the years, incling Mac's
Joint,
Tavern
Joe's
in the
Place.
40s and 50s, and the It'll Do Tavern in the 60s.
It'll do, Brad.
It'll
I like
do.
that.
In 1974, a group of people who lived in a hippie houseboat community on nearby Lake Union purchased the tavern, and thus the Eastlake Zoo Tavern was born. In true hippie fashion, it was formed as a worker cooperative. So according to local legend, the original owners wanted to open it as a co-op so they could make just enough money to drink for free. And I think the original idea was that they would each take turns bartending in exchange for basically never having a bar tab.
So, like, co-op, is this kind of like an Eagles Lodge or something? Like, how does
Think
how does
more
that
like
work?
PCC, where
Yeah.
all the
But for
workers,
booze.
But for booze.
Or things
It's-
like the
okay.
Globe Tavern or the or the Globe Restaurant in Capitol Hill or the
Yeah.
Black Cat in the U District.
It's a very hippie concept.
And the fact that it's still here is mind-blowing.
And it's
because
still a co-op.
All those co-ops are basically,
Yeah.
like you said, a bunch of people who want to drink for free. So there's not a lot
Right.
of business acumen in this collective.
No.
And yet, they pulled it off.
They pulled it
All
off.
those places I just mentioned are gone, but not the Eastlake.
Well, and so as far as it being a co-op, here's some interesting things. So being run as a co-op also means that if the zoo is ever sold, then each of the 100-odd people who have worked here over the past decades will receive some money. And apparently they even have some formula to determine like how much money each person would make.
$35 per person.
Here's your check for $5. Like most traditional co-ops, all Eastlake Zoo employees have a say in how the business is run. This includes everything from new hires, drink prices, and even if troublesome customers should be 86ed or not. And by the way, I understand they're having a meeting in the back room right now to discuss the Lou situation. So
That's right.
we're waiting to hear the results
Potentially
of that.
banned for life.
Yeah.
But
I already
we're voting
rubbed
against
my
it.
balls on the bartender's
What'd you do
forehead.
this time, Lou?
Yeah.
Balls, forehead, bartender.
We told you to stop doing that. We warned you against this kind of behavior. The zoo is currently owned by a man named Howard Brown, who was a previous employee of the bar back in the late 70s. He ended up purchasing the tavern in the 90s and then selling it in the early 2000s. Unfortunately, after selling the bar, it sank into deep decline and it was even at risk of going bankrupt. So he repurchased it kind of like as a passion, like he really felt passionate about this place.
Wait. Ran it into the ground to the verge of bankruptcy and then rebought the place. That sounds like a Trump play or something. What the hell?
I just think he really had a love for this place and he saw where it was going. So he repurchased it to kind of get it back on stable ground. And he did. He repurchased it in 2007, brought it back to life. And his son is even tending bar tonight and might even stop by at the end of our segments and have a quick chat with us.
Now, and he's the only guy here.
Yeah,
if he wraps up and we're still here, he'll come up and do
so
some mic time.
In
fact, he talked about busting out the chest to me and Jeremy.
The chest.
Yeah, he's got this chest of like what it sounds like of Eastlake memorabilia of pictures from all the derelict league softball.
You're speaking my language, man. I would love to see this. Yeah. Well, I was talking to him at the beginning, and he was basically telling me that most of the original co-op owners that started this thing back in the early 70s, a lot of them have passed away, and this Howard Brown guy is one of the only OG members still around. So hopefully he stops by and we could talk to him.
Nice.
It sounds like he's got some interesting stories.
Can you still buy into the co-op?
I think you got to work. It's an employee cooperative, so you got to work here.
Does drink here count as work here?
I don't think so. Since becoming the Eastlake Zoo, the bar has expanded in size to include the famous game room that we're kind of overlooking right now. We're on the second story looking down on all the games and stuff. Some people have described the Eastlake Zoo as a Chuck E. Cheese for adults. And it's kind of appropriate. I mean, it's stocked with pool tables, skee ball.
If there were animatronic mice in the corner, that would make it. That would really make it.
I mean, they got it all. There's ping pong tables, darts, shuffleboard, pinballs, and an official-sized snooker table. Oh. Do you guys know the difference between pool and snooker?
It's so cute. The snooker table. It's adorable.
It's
covered. Wait.
I figured we should discuss this because we're probably going to encounter more
yet another scenario
tables.
Where all of our listeners are going to be frantically Googling this shit as we talk.
Maybe.
Snooker table.
Well, let me drop some knowledge on you. So, pool is played on a table with 6 pockets and 15 balls, plus an additional cue ball. What is the 15 balls? Is that like going over your head?
Yeah.
You still trying to wrap your head around it?
Carry the 1, there's -2.
Sorry, go on.
There are a number of different types of pool games, but the most common is 8-ball, which is probably the one that we're most familiar with. That's the one I've always played. Snooker tables, on the other hand, are larger than pool tables, like the one down there, but the 6 pockets are smaller.
Big.
We got to take the cover off because I want to see what the actual table looks like. And it uses 15 pink numberless balls and 6 numbered balls and 1 cue ball. So are you with us, Lou?
Repeat the color of the balls.
How many pink numberless balls does it have? Quick.
15.
Good job. You were paying attention. All right.
And what are the other ones?
6 numbered balls and 1 cue ball.
That's a lot of balls.
So
no wonder the table's so big. That is a lot of balls.
That is a lot of balls. And apparently with snooker, one of the main differences is that you don't have to just use the cue ball to hit other balls with. You can use, I believe, the 6 numbered balls to hit other balls with, in addition to the cue ball, which, of course, you can't do that with the pool.
That sounds complicated.
It does sound kind of complicated. But
also, you get to snooker your
I
balls.
thought these were drinking games down here.
But it's just like pool. If you're
count to
familiar with
6?
it, it's
What the
probably
hell?
not so bad
Is
at
there a
all.
mahjong table down there, too?
An abacus. The other cool device in this bar is that it has a working coin-operated breathalyzer. And I think that's towards the entrance. So overall, it's the Eastlake Zoo's operation as a long-standing cooperative that really defines its true spirit. Unlike most of the other bars we've visited so far, there have been no salacious scandals, police raids, or shocking crime stories connected with the zoo's past.
That we know about.
That we know of. Maybe the owner's son will come up and... But I didn't see any in my research. Rather, since its inception in 1974, it serves as kind of a long-standing symbol of the old hippie-ish granola Seattle that we all remember. In a certain sense, the Eastlake Zoo is the REI of Seattle bars, and I mean that in the best way possible.
And we're right down the street?
And we're right down the street from it. Lastly, the zoo is a true tavern in that they serve beer and wine only, no hard alcohol, which Jeremy, I believe, is going to discuss further in his segment, Whatcha Drinkin.
Oh man, and this is some good stuff we got going on here. This is so. First of all, I am totally crushing on the beer selection at the zoo, right?
Yeah,
And
it's good.
We've talked about pretty much every place we've been so far has had a pretty decent beer selection, right? Like we talked about how like Seattle, it's a beer town, man. You cannot have, even the diviest of dive bars, you're going to have a pretty good beer selection. But so far, the zoo pretty much topping everybody here. And
oh, nice.
So what you drinking, right? So I'll start off here. I am drinking Black Raven Kitty Cat Blues mixed 50-50 with Pelican Brewing Cream Ale.
I almost got that.
Oh my God.
Is it good?
It's delicious. And the cool thing about it is it was suggested to me by the bartender. Right? So you walk up to the bar and you're like looking at the tap handles thinking, what am I going to have? And you're looking over, oh, they have some good stuff here. The Jolly Roger Christmas Ale. That's cool. I love Christmas Ale, dark beers, blah, blah, blah. You're like, oh, Black Raven. Love Black Raven. Oh, Kitty Cat Blues. That's kind of visual. Blueberry Ale. You don't see that on tap very often, blah, 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 blah. Bartender comes over and is like, oh, if you like that, try this. And he's rattling off all these cool 50-50 mixes and shit that he's like coming off the top of his head or whatever. I'm like, wow, spot on. Did 50-50 with the Black Raven Blueberry Ale and Pelican Cream Ale. Delicious. He says he called it a blueberry pie or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
delicious.
It's true. It hits your palate when you take
It's
a sip.
awesome. Yeah, it's delicious. So Black Raven Brewery, one of my favorites. Excellent beers. All their stuff is really good.
It is,
They make, the Kitty Cat Blues is a blueberry pale, which is, not to everybody's taste, right? I like it. A lot of people don't like fruit beers, and I'm looking at you, Brad. You're not a big fan of fruit beers.
No,
a lot
I'm
of
not.
people are like, blueberry, what the hell? I don't know, right? But it's good. Mixing it with the cream ale, genius. And the fact that you walk up to the bar, and this is without a doubt a dive bar. It's a diving place. You walk in, you're looking at the place, whatever, dive bar, okay. You're looking at the beers thinking, I'm not sure what I'm going to drink. The fact that, they got a great selection of beers on tap. Awesome. Kudos to the zoo. And the bartender comes over to you and super upscale style is like, well, why don't you try this custom concoction that I blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
he's almost curating these,
like, oh, hell yeah.
custom mixes. Yeah, that's
for
awesome.
sure. And I was like, all right, that's 2 stars already for the zoo. I'm loving it. How about you,
Nice.
Lou? What you drinking, man?
Well, he was mentioning to me that they're good friends with the Maritime Brewery folks.
Oh, really?
So you'll see,
another favorite brewery.
Yeah, they've got 3 Maritimes up there, and this is the dry hopped lager.
Yeah. Oh,
I usually don't drink lagers, but this one actually, when you think of lager, you think
for sure.
Bud Miller Coors.
Totally.
But this is like a Bud Miller Coors that's actually delicious.
I've been kind of on lagers lately. I've been kind of on a lager kick lately, and I was eyeballing that one.
Fascinating that you mentioned that, right? Typically you go into a dive bar, we talked about this before, you're going to get the staples, right? You're going to get a Coors Light, maybe a Rainier, or a Miller, or a Schlitz, or something like that.
I haven't seen Schlitz in a while, though.
That's true. the dive bar staple fares, right? And the fact that you come here and they've got a lager, but it's an awesome dry hopped maritime lager. It's like, okay, they're just kind of taking it to a whole other level.
I don't think they have any of the regular commercial lagers here, do they? I didn't notice any.
I
Do they?
don't see any.
I think in cans only.
Oh, is it in cans? But nothing on the tap.
Yeah.
They don't have any
There's
even
no
Rainier.
shit on the draft.
Yeah.
There is no shit on the draft.
Yeah, in fact, they don't even have the Bodie Manny's.
No, they do have Manny's.
Oh, they do have
They
Manny's.
do have
But yeah,
Manny's,
he
but
has
that was it. Yeah.
His 2 versions of a commercial beer are we've got Manny's
Yeah.
and we've got Fremont Brewing Lush.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are his 2 commercial beers.
Yeah. Which are both awesome beers.
Which are both amazing beers.
Yeah,
great.
totally. Yeah. So 3
But
stars.
You can buy
3
those
stars
in a
for the
grocery
zoo.
store, and most of these taps you cannot buy in a grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah. Said it before, and we are in a beer town. Even the diviest of dive bars is a beer tavern. Zoo's no exception, but I think Zoo's kind of taking it to another level.
I believe you're right.
Brad, what are you putting
I
in
am
your
drinking-
beer hole?
What am I throwing down my gullet? I am drinking the Sky Kraken from Fremont Brewing. You just mentioned that.
Kraken.
yeah.
It's their hazy, and it's quite tasty.
Yeah, it's a hazy IPA. It's delicious.
It's really good, yeah.
that's a good staple. I like it. And yeah, when you look around here, they've also got one of the reasons he said they love Maritime is that when the guy comes in, he starts decorating the place. The salesman from the bar. So when he when he
like the
leaves,
neon signs and stuff. There's plenty of them on the
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, plenty
yeah,
of
he
them.
just comes in and starts decorating for a half hour, and then says, "What do you want?" And they're like, I guess I gotta buy a bunch more. We got Fremont beers.
Fremont. I'm looking at a Miller Lite neon sign on the wall, which is actually pretty cool. It's an old school Miller Lite
Yeah, that is cool.
sign which I think it looks, by the looks of it, has been here for decades on the wall.
And it's an equal opportunity bar. If you come in here and
for sure.
you're a pussy who doesn't like beer, look what's behind you, Jeremy.
I noticed
A
that.
White Claw. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh, okay. All right. Minus a half a star for the White Claw sign, but
But it's a cool
We'll give that one to him.
it's in the corner. It's buried behind some like cool memorabilia, so we'll let it pass.
But in the zoo's defense, I mean, when you're walking around this place looking at the walls, it's kind of like a just awesome museum. I mean, right now I'm looking at all these old school bumper shoot posters from probably the 90s. They got a wall full of photos from the original crew back in the 70s, the hippie houseboat community crew. They got an old bicycle up on the walls. I mean, it's amazing. You can just spend probably a good hour here just looking at all the stuff on the walls.
Yeah,
so
I'm loving the chalk graffiti that goes all the way up to the ceiling. Like somebody had to
let
get
me-
on a ladder
let
and
me
reach up there
explain.
and climb on
There's this
that.
one wall in the game room that's literally, what's that, Jeremy, 20 feet?
Oh yeah, easy.
And there's chalk graffiti all the way up to the top. So someone's coming out here with the ladder.
I'm imagining
When they're
three
drinking, probably.
people getting drunk and climbing up on each other's shoulders to write their initials up in the corner.
what
over
could
there.
possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
And when you think about it, if you want to carbon date those in the evidence lab, I bet they've been there forever. Because
I'm
nowadays,
sure, yeah.
you wouldn't bust out the ladder
No.
and let a couple chuckleheads you'll get sued. But back in the day when it was a co-op, like, yeah, get the
That's a
ladder
great
out.
idea. Let's do it.
Let's get it. Hey, I got a great idea to put on the wall.
No, I'm sure you're right. I'm sure those are decades old.
So, yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, we got a fat tire bike on the wall, a big ass
Yeah, Pee Wee
bear
Herman looking
rug, and what's the deal with the like alligator man? Was that a ship's
Banshee?
mascot kind of whatever thing going on hanging from the ceiling? That is
Yeah,
crazy.
It's a flying skeleton demon.
It's a banshee.
Oh, flying skeleton
It's a
demon.
banshee. Thank
Oh,
you,
yeah. Oh,
Bob. And
is
then-
it like a ship's mascot banshee or just a generic banshee?
Yeah, I think it's your atypical.
Well, and you
banshee.
can't see it from here, but there's a paper mache dragon on the other
Oh.
side of the wall there. And apparently, I was reading that came from some like elementary school play that they did, and they had it left over, and the zoo was like, "I'll take it." And so it's been there probably for the past 30 years.
Naturally.
So you gotta love that. I mean,
You guys done with that paper mache dragon?
Middle school.
Give me $5 for it.
We got some moose horns just off to the right here. Yeah, this is a really cool.
Yeah, this
game.
place has got a great vibe.
Yeah.
It's an awesome vibe.
And it's also like it's sneaky. If you look at it from the street, it's a tiny door on
Yeah.
the corner, and it's small.
You
And
would think
right
it's a
next to it, there's another business butting up against
Like
it. But you walk
speakeasy
in,
style,
walk
right?
in, it's
Yeah.
like you're walking into a
Yeah.
big barn or
And
something.
It looks small, and then you walk over around the corner, and all of a sudden this place explodes. It's 5-6 times bigger than it looks from the street.
Yeah.
It's a monster. In fact, you talked a lot about the co-op. Who owns the real estate? Did you ever find that out?
That I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe we can run that
Because
past the
that's
owner's
the whole
son.
key to survival here is that they've got
The
a
last man on the
landlord.
lease of the co-op, I'd imagine. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I was wondering. Maybe if the co-op themselves own it. I don't know how that works.
No, that's a good point too, because this is a pretty prime location. I mean,
and
it's
so
not
high density. This
Hell
could
yeah.
be a monster.
Oh, there's a
building.
multi-
for
$1 million.
sure, and it's not like super gentrified kind of neighborhood like some areas in Seattle, but it's getting there. It's getting there.
What's close enough to Lake Union and Amazon?
Uh-huh.
Where, yeah.
Right
We're
across from
spitting
the-
distance from the Amazon campus. It's
Yeah.
like that creep is gonna like make its way up here eventually.
Yeah.
So that's really impressive that it's still here because either one, you've got the best case scenario is you got a landlord who just doesn't care and he loves the zoo and he's a regular and he gave him like a 80-year lease.
He's like, what? I can drink for free?
Yeah.
1,000 years for a penny.
Or the co-op actually got their shit together enough to buy the building.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it would have been relatively affordable.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's hope that's the
70s,
case.
yeah.
Yeah, let's
Made
hope
it
that's the
happen.
case.
Yeah.
Because this is a total.
They don't make them like
developer's
this
dream.
anymore.
The
It's-
condo,
that's for
all
sure.
of the condos
Yeah.
will be built around the zoo, and the zoo will be like the only remaining single-story old dilapidated place.
Kind of like that house in Ballard.
Yep, hell yeah.
The basis for Up.
Yeah,
Gotta hope
totally.
so.
Oh yeah. Well, no, it came. That happened after Up. That's in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually gone now. She actually passed away.
Oh,
did she?
Yeah, very shortly after construction.
Is there a bar there now? Can we go? Should we go record?
Well, yeah, if you want to record at a Trader Joe's.
Well, actually, right near there is
Is
Mike's
it a divey
Chili
Trader Joe's?
Parlor,
Oh,
where
there
we're
you
going.
go. There you go.
And it's kind of like that
All right.
when you go to Mike's Chili Parlor. There's Mike's Chili Parlor, which is like this old institution. You guys will see, and then it's just completely surrounded by new construction. So,
Ross Dress for Less, Trader Joe's.
yeah, all that
Xfinity,
condos,
Garage.
yeah, all that stuff.
Mars Church is down there.
Oh, yay. Let's record there. That'd be fun.
Is that still around? I thought they shut down.
No,
They rebranded.
it's down,
Church.
but it's still a church.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're still renting it out.
It's worth noting, too, where we are physically sitting right here is at a table that's probably the most
Oh, it's a Blue Moon
fucked
table.
up, like
Yeah, I was thinking
scratched,
that.
like it like carved, initialed kind of.
Been around the block.
Yeah, this is a crazy
yeah,
ass table.
This is an original table.
And then all around us is like the same shit, right? There's like tons of tables, they're all
Yeah.
carved with initials or whatever, and there are a bajillion drinks spilled all over them, stuff. All of the railing is all carved with initials and names and dates and stuff. And the whole
Seasoned.
place just reeks of that kind of like dive bar. Like, yes, the history is there.
Yeah.
It's like in the wood, it's in the bones, it's in the concrete. Can't escape it.
It's a good way
Love
to
it.
describe it. Yep.
Love it.
Yeah, in fact, the original sign is on the wall here in front of us.
Love that sign.
That's 70 years old.
Well, now, Brad, you were talking about how supposedly there is not even older than this one. So we're looking at Eastlake Zoo Tavern, old sign hanging up on the wall, pretty damn cool. But there's somewhere around here, there's a sign that's even older than that one of the previous name.
Well, when the building opened, it opened in 1902,
You mean
over
like
100
Joe's
years ago.
Tavern?
No, Heinz Market. So
Heinz
this
Market,
building was
yeah,
originally
yeah.
a market, as I was saying, like an old grocery store.
All right.
And supposedly, I'm determined to find this. The original sign for that is somewhere in this bar.
It's in the chest. You're going to miss it, Brad.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, you're-
It's worth noting, too, that you talk about the games. There is, like, what, 5 pool tables, including the snooker, which is pretty badass. We got some skee ball, which is, pretty cool and rare, right? Not many plays have skee ball. And 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 or 5 pinball, which personally, I think
pinballs.
any joint that's got a
Now-
pinball table,
But not just any
A-game in my
pinballs. Did you guys check out the pinballs?
Maiden.
Iron Maiden pinball. Does it get any better than that? Does it get any better than that?
oh, nice.
Yeah, no,
Nice.
I took a picture of that. I'll post up the pinball selection on the Instagram and the Facebook. But they've
And
got,
it has a pretty cool Star Wars
That's,
pinball
that's
too.
the
they've
Bally
got-
machine that actually got sued by Iron Maiden because it was not officially licensed, right?
I don't know.
I just made that up.
Yeah, no, you've got Iron Maiden, you've got Junkyard, you've got Star Wars, and Deadpool. And they
Good
probably
selection.
rotate.
Yeah, good selection.
Yeah.
My friend Avon, who owns Shorty's, that's what he started
Yeah,
doing before he
we're gonna
bought
hit Shorty's here,
He
too.
was just a pinball guy, and he would
Right.
go to bars and rent out and maintain and swap out pinball machines for bars. So,
Yeah.
Gone fishing.
so it's rotating.
Gone fishing.
You guys ever play that pinball game? That's the
yeah.
best
Oh,
game.
yeah.
That's,
Is that the
Yeah.
one where you actually grab the fishing
Kinda
reel to
has a
shoot
little-
the ball
Yeah,
instead of the,
that is a good
yeah,
one.
Yeah,
It's a classic.
That one in Funhouse.
Funhouse. Okay.
Funhouse.
Yup.
With the
Yep.
clown face. It's kind of like an amusement park themed pinball.
Okay. Got
Classic
kinda old
pinball.
school too.
Yeah.
My fa-
The mouth
what's
opens.
Your favorite, Jay?
Oh, my favorite was Black Knight. Remember Black Knight?
No.
That was one of the first dual level tables. You know, it had this like the
Oh,
separate level
okay.
where you take the ramps up. Whatever. That was one of the first ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
that game was great.
I've never seen that. I put Adam's Family.
Oh, that was
Ooh,
a
yeah.
classic. Adam's
Yep.
Family.
Yeah, that's a great pinball machine. You'll still see it. There's bars in Seattle that still have
Yeah.
Adam's Family.
The original Alien pinball. Remember with the infinity lights in the back glass? That was a
Yeah.
good one.
Nice.
Nice.
We're going way back. The Evil Knievel pinball. Do you guys remember that from like the 70s?
Ooh.
Where I grew up.
Where he's like
the
on a
local
bike,
mom and
popping a wheelie in the back
yeah,
glass.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. The mom and pop store near where I lived. I used to buy all my candy from when I was a kid. Had one in there, so
That's like the sound it would make. I think
so.
remember that
I think
one.
so,
It was
yeah.
Cycling through.
Wait,
that.
how did that go again?
You can replay it. Just for a minute. Something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
You started, Lou, talking about like who owns the property. Like, why don't you get into where we're at? Where we at, Lou?
Well, if we can take 5, I can go to the King County Assessor's website and tell you exactly who owns the property.
Why don't we take 5 and get another beer?
All right.
All right,
Sounds
good.
good.
5. All right. All right, well, we filled up our glasses, so we're in good shape now. Real quick, I got an Ninkasi dry hop IPA, which a delicious beer. Ninkasi, one of my favorite breweries, but this is a limited edition release that the bartender was telling me is like, you gotta like know somebody to get a keg of this shit, right? So
Is it an IPA?
it is. It's a single hop
Now, they're
dry
an
hop
Oregon
IPA.
brewery, right? Aren't they from Portland? Ninkasi?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, A,
Oh man, that's
great
delicious. I
beer,
should have got that.
great beer, great brewery, but the fact that these guys somehow got their hands on a very limited edition, coveted a keg of this stuff is, again,
It's
another
testament
star
to the longevity.
Yeah.
in the zoo's book, right?
Definitely.
Great shit.
Nice. What do you got for round 2, Brad?
Jeremy sold me on the beer he was drinking, the half and half, which is, what is it
The
again?
blueberry pie, yeah.
The blueberry pie.
Black Raven Kitty Cat Blues.
Yeah.
And Pelican Cream Ale.
Yeah, very good.
Yep.
And I'm not normally a fan of fruit beers, but this is quite tasty. So
Yeah, and the fact that you're giving it praise, Brad, I think is pretty high
big
praise.
praise.
Yeah, because you are definitely
I'm not down with fruit
a
beers.
fruit beer guy.
no, I'm not. So
But you love pumpkin spice beer, so there you go.
Yeah, as do we all.
can't get enough of it.
Blueberry lattes.
That's right.
What you got there, Lou?
I went, since I got a lager on the first round, I thought I'd go IPA, and the only one I saw there was the Lush Fremont.
Oh, Fremont Lush. Yeah.
Which is
Yep.
it's the opposite end of the spectrum, where the lager is smooth, and this is hoppy as all
Yep.
get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Punch you in the face.
That's right.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I understand you guys got some good info about the snooker table. So you guys want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, the guy was telling us that the snooker table, it has a cover on it right now, and we asked, can we peel it back and take a picture of it later? And he was like, oh, yeah, go right ahead. But the reason we got it covered is because we just had that thing refinished. And with a snooker table, with the pool table, any Joe Blow in America can refinish a pool table, but to finish a snooker table, they had to fly a dude over from England to refinish it. Like there are no snooker experts in the States. And so
Yeah, and apparently this guy just came back from doing his thing in Australia.
Really?
Very specialized. He had to go to Australia to finish snooker tables over there. Flew back home to England and got his ass over here.
yeah,
to
he
refinish.
said another place too. He was like, he went to Australia and then Morocco, and then
Yeah,
he
yeah,
came
yeah.
and did our pool table.
Sounds like a good gig, actually.
World tour snooker table refinishing guy.
High demand.
Yeah, so that's why they got the cover on it. Don't be fucking spilling your beer on this pool table.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, man. I guess you'll have to get them back out here.
Can I get a rag?
Even more importantly, I had no idea that snooker was so huge in Morocco.
No, go figure.
Who knew?
Who
Yeah.
knew?
And I think it's got like some masking tape on the cover there. What does it say? Can you
It
read
says
that?
no drink on table. And I think there's a couple
yeah, okay.
exclamation marks.
Yeah.
So they really
Case in
like.
point. Yeah, case in
We
point.
just paid, an arm and a leg to get this refinished. No drinks on it.
Another cool factor is he was saying that not only did they get this dude in from England to recover this very specialist snooker table, a local regular patron of the bar paid for it
That's right.
because he was
That's
a big snooker fan and used the table and was like, you know what?
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds
That's
very
awesome.
co-op-y.
Very co-op.
It
Yeah,
does,
very
it does,
co-op.
Yeah.
Nice. And look around. It doesn't look like the clientele's very flush, but you can't tell nowadays.
Well, it's old school Seattle bar.
It's
You
old
could
school
be sitting
Seattle,
next to a
that's right.
millionaire in flannel and a
We're
torn
not
up pair of
putting on
jeans.
airs.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want me to tell you where we're at?
Where we at, Lou? Where are we at?
Oh, we're in the rich history neighborhood of Eastlake, Seattle. So rich, I had to.
Wait. East of what lake?
Lake Union.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I had to pare it down because it's such a rich history. Eastlake is named after the street that runs through it.
Huh.
On the other side of Eastlake, there's a street called Westlake.
Huh.
Back to you, Jeremy.
Where's North Lake?
There is a North Lake.
And where's South Lake?
They're all there.
Yeah, they're all there. Yeah.
North
pretty-
Lake.
Yeah, Eastlake's a tweener neighborhood. It's an arterial to get from the U District to downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't live here, there's really no reason to come here except for Serafina. There's a
Yeah.
delicious Italian restaurant just a block down from where we're at. Seattle Institution.
It's been a minute since I've been there, but that is
I don't know.
quite tasty.
There is a Chipotle, so, you know.
Yeah, it's got white tablecloths. Very nice restaurant, but not super expensive. It's Italian food, so like $25 entree.
Shout out to Serafina. Yeah, place is awesome.
Yeah.
Any listeners who haven't heard of it, that's a good date night. Good place to take your missus.
Went there on my anniversary, FYI.
So
Oh.
Eastlake is kind of nice. It's bracketed in between the freeway and Lake Union. So Eastlake's actually only about 8 blocks wide, and that's it. And there's this big street cutting through it. And you got Serafina. You've got the first Red Robin is on Eastlake.
That's
or was
right.
on Eastlake.
That's actually
That's
pretty
right.
cool.
Yeah,
Right.
long closed.
Yep,
Yeah.
right at
Yep,
the
for
foot
sure.
of the bridge. That's
No,
about
I
it.
imagine this was probably a pretty cool little homey residential neighborhood until a big, massive 3-story I-5 was built in like the 70s or something,
Late
right?
70s, yeah.
You know, so I bet a lot of people
Yeah.
living in this area were like, "Oh fuck."
Oh, totally. And
Yeah,
you'll,
I'm sure.
you'll see that when you drive here, even though there's not shit to do here, there's nowhere to park. Because
Yeah.
it's all apartment buildings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, but you're a couple, actually, here's something. You're a couple blocks from the water where we're at, and
Yep, I can see the water from here.
you're in houseboat land. Like, your
that's
Sleepless
right.
in
Yeah,
Seattle
that's right.
houseboat is just down the
Shit
street.
ton of them over there.
Oh, is it?
You
Okay.
can literally
Oh,
see
that's
them from
cool.
here.
Eastlake is the houseboat neighborhood. If you don't live in Seattle, it's a house that floats
Oh
on the
man,
water.
you know, and way back in the day, you know this is better than I do. Like houseboats used to be what you would live in if you didn't
Were
have
homeless?
much money, right? But now I'm looking at like
they're-
the houseboats
yeah.
on Lake Union now, and they are fucking expensive.
Well, I mean, the original co-op that formed here, they all lived on houseboats. They were all just hippies that lived on houseboats. They had a community out there, and this was their tavern. This is where they came to drink at night. So, yeah, big
And
part of
now
Seattle history.
all of them have been like booted out of the area for affordability reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Can't afford that houseboat anymore. Can't afford to drink here anymore. Can't afford the real estate. Get the fuck out.
Well, that's one of the good things about houseboats. I actually know a little bit about it because I have a client who builds houseboats in Seattle.
shit.
It's a quaint thing that everybody thinks is cool, but the city fucking hates them, and they don't want anything on the waterfront. It's got to be pristine, like there's seals coming through Lake Union, and so they laid.
Won't they think of the crabs? Won't somebody think of the crabs?
Well, isn't with houseboats, you can only have a finite number of houseboats, right? There can only be a certain number of houseboats.
That's true. The city
And-
put a moratorium on it, and they
Yeah.
wanted to get rid of them. And like you said, all those hippie co-op guys, those are still the same houseboats. There's not
Right.
a lot of new construction houseboats. So when you think about it, it's floating on the water. And the guy I knew actually built houseboats, and he was a Navy.
Like new from scratch, or was he like
new from
refurbishing
scratch.
shit?
And he
Okay.
was an engineer who built hulls for Navy boats. So he was going to build houseboats with these metal hulls, but these do not have metal hulls. They're fucking rotten. Like
Norwegian wharf rat.
yeah, technically a houseboat means it's propelled. You can move your house, but most of these are floating homes or
It's like a
House
mobile
barges.
home. It's like they ain't. In most cases, they ain't mobile. Right? Like
No,
good luck
actually,
trying
I
to
think
fucking
they
move that
have
thing.
to be mobile because what I remember hearing, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but what I remember hearing is they have to be mobile and they have to prove to be seaworthy. Like you can actually take them out. And I think once a year you have to actually take your houseboat out if you're a houseboat owner and bring it out and kind of do a sail out on the sea and then bring it back and in front of an inspector. Have you guys heard that before?
no that's
Fishing trip up
actually-
to Alaska. Yeah, on your houseboat. Yeah,
that an urban
That's
myth?
right. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an urban myth because most of them are floating homes. They
Really?
have no engine. Yeah, there are houseboats, and those are like what you described, Jeremy. Basically, a homeless guy who's living on his boat, some dilapidated old boat. So the city put a moratorium down because they're like these floating homes are all going to rot and fall into
An
the
insurance
sea,
nightmare.
And when they do, we're not replacing them. So they said no new houseboats on Lake Union. What's there is finite. But
Yeah.
if you own a houseboat, you have a medallion. And so there's a finite number of medallions. And my guy went and started scooping up all the medallions.
You can literally see the medallions. They still have to be like visible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little badge on your door. And so he went around and started buying all these dilapidated homeless people boats to get medallions. And he was replacing them with $1.5 million
Smart guy.
house barges, and the
Yeah.
city was like,
Businessman.
no.
Floating McMansions.
So he went through a 2-year lawsuit with the city and won.
Nice.
And he could afford to do that. And so, because what they don't
all the
want
houses
is
he
you
sold.
replacing a houseboat with a $1.5 million houseboat because there's no property taxes.
Oh, okay.
It's not on property.
So
it's
they're-
like buying a car. You pay your sales tax and that's it.
They're
And
not
so
eating a piece. They're not eating off of it.
But I think they
That's
get their
right.
money from houseboat owners in other ways.
They do. There used to be, it was just a property.
I'm sure the
a
insurance
personal
must be
property.
through the
Like
roof.
essentially like a mortgage fee, right?
Well, you have to pay
Yeah,
that plus
yeah.
because you're on a dock, so you pay a monthly
Yeah.
rental fee for the dock space that you have. But,
Canoe parking is super expensive.
Yeah.
Well, you got to pay, like, there's a whole sewage cost, there's electricity and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
because,
just dumped that in the lake. It's fine.
because of his lawsuit, they changed the way it used to be. It used to be like when you bought a car, you paid sales tax on it, and that was it. Now they have an annual renewal fee of
Yeah.
a personal property tax. So it depreciates over the years and gets smaller. But
They get their money somehow.
they get you. Yeah.
That's interesting, though.
A lot of talk about
Did you guys ever
really-
go on
I
Mary
really-
Beth's houseboat when she lived on a houseboat?
Yeah,
God,
for
that
sure.
was
That place
awesome.
was cool.
That was really cool.
I want to hit a. There's got to be floating dive bar around here somewhere. We've got to find it.
Well, back during
We've gotta find
Prohibition, a lot of the houseboats down there served as speakeasies. That's where a lot of people went. So
There's got to be at least one left.
it's got to,
Yeah.
I'm thinking so.
Yeah, that's a project. We got to find it.
We also have to go looking for Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. I think they fell in love.
Shut
and
the hell
got
up.
married.
Just shut the fuck
They lived on a
No.
houseboat. He and his kid.
Are you sleepless over that, Lou, thinking about that?
I can't stop.
All right.
God, we can edit that crap out, right? All right, good. So we had hoped to get a bartender, the owner's son, on mic, but that dude is crazy busy, and whoever was supposed to replace him this shift ain't showed up yet. So
We've run into this before, though. This
Yeah.
isn't our first experience with this.
yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. So we're going to have to pass on that, which is too bad because he's a fountain of information.
Yeah, shout out to
super,
Dylan.
super nice. Yeah, super nice guy.
Yeah.
Came up with the idea of the blueberry pie drink, which we can attest is fucking kick ass, right?
Very
so,
tasty.
So kudos to him. But maybe we'll get him on mic in a future episode. We'll come back. I'd love to come back here and do another episode here. Get some folks, maybe even the owner, and talk with them in an episode.
Just come back here and drink and play shuffleboard.
Our first
Hell
live
yeah.
episode.
Play some snooker.
Play some snooker.
Play some snooker. That's right. Yeah, somebody has got to teach us how to play snooker, or at least
Yeah.
teach me how to play snooker because I had no idea. Never
YouTube.
played. Yeah. So I'm looking across the wall and I'm seeing a jukebox on the wall, internet connected jukebox. Gotta love those things. But I'm thinking what we're listening to, playing through some pretty decent speakers in the bar here,
Yeah.
is not the jukebox, but
I
is
don't
in
think so.
fact the bartender's personal mix.
I think it is, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think you're right about that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it is because all these internet jukeboxes are touch tunes, right? And they're not on here.
Oh, so you can't track, like, the top.
Yeah,
20
I can't
songs
see
or
what
whatever?
they're listening to here.
Okay.
But what we are
Shocking that we are not internet connected here at the Zoo Tavern.
But this is also kind of a live music venue, too, or at least it used to be
Back in the day?
back
yeah.
in the day. Now, I don't see
Yeah.
a stage anymore, so I don't think it is any longer, but
it would have been where the game room is.
Yeah.
but you can
I think
see
you're right, yeah.
Yeah, I think
on
they
the
used to.
walls
Yeah, they used to
here.
have bands where basically where the dartboards are.
There are a ton of old music flyers, and these are not like. They all look like they were done in the same couple years, and they were all
Yeah.
drawn by the same guy. It's almost like this metal font where it's all kind of the letters bleed together. You know, like Morbid Necronomicon and all those kind of bands, or whatever. So I
Rock-
took a picture of it and tried
Rock
to read it, but
posters,
I could not-
sans serif.
I could not, rock poster sans serif. I cannot see the names. I cannot make out the names of any of them except for Brad
Duffy Bishop?
Duffy Bishop. That's
Duffy
right.
Bishop.
I thought you were going to say Satan's Pilgrims.
No, I can see two.
Duffy Bishop ones.
Oh yeah, Saints Pilgrims.
Did you guys ever see Duffy
What I was
Bishop
talking
back in the
about it.
90s? She played in Pioneer Square quite a bit, and she was great.
A blues singing woman,
She
right?
was a blues singer. She was kind of a Seattle institution back in the day.
She played at Sit and Spin, didn't
I'm sure she did.
Yeah.
I'm sure she
Well,
did.
Yeah, she's also from those number of 90s bands that played every single weekend somewhere in Seattle.
Yeah.
Duffy
yeah.
Bishop, Hit Explosion,
Yeah.
Jambalasi,
Oh, my God.
The Supersonic Soul Pimps.
Supersonic Soul Pimp.
Yeah. Which is almost kind of like a musical genre in and of itself, kind of. What would you call it? Like the Seattle bar band circuit? Yeah.
And I don't think they've been replaced, but I think there's still demand. Hit Explosion was basically a cover band.
They're still around. They're still touring.
Are they?
Still doing, oh, yeah. Still doing their thing. Oh, yeah.
Did you ever see Hit Explosion?
Many times.
They were so entertaining.
So fun.
Did you ever see Hit Explosion?
Crazy
Foster?
fun.
A little before my
A
time.
little before your time?
Crazy
Yeah.
fun. Well, not too late.
Yeah.
You can still go see them.
Yeah.
Still playing the same
Still playing the
songs.
same exact fucking songs. Yep.
Yeah.
And Supersonic Soul Pimps are exactly what it sounds like.
Yep.
They were a 90s
Like funk.
bunch of white guys playing funk
Yep.
with big
Big
furry hats on.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Red Hot Chili Peppers B-League or
Kinda.
C-League. C-League Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That's actually a good description. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Jambalasi was kind of like
Were they reggae?
yeah, they were like a reggae band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were all fun bands to see, though. Yeah.
Long story short, the music, which I think is the bartender's DJ mix.
Yeah, that's right.
Pretty good
some of
shit.
these internet jukeboxes.
Some old
just-
blues and some. We had some Bob Marley playing before, and like some Otis Redding or something, and
Yeah.
some
Floyd,
good shit.
Groove Me.
There's some good shit.
No, really good. So, Jeremy, maybe you want to close this out?
All right, we're about ready to wrap it up. So this is
knocking on the head.
This has been some good shit here at the Zoo Tavern on Eastlake. One of my favorites. Like I said before, I would love to come back and do a redo here. Maybe get the bartender,
Yeah, get Dylan on the mic.
owner, the
Yeah.
bartender, the owner's son, bartender on mic.
Howard.
Guy's an interesting guy. He teased us, hinted us that he had what did he call it?
A chest.
A
Treasure
chest.
chest.
A treasure chest of
Eastlake Zoo Gold.
gold, yeah, with gold, and especially memorabilia about the baseball leagues that were associated with drinking establishments way back in the day.
I think that was just a thing back in the 70s.
Oh,
they had
man.
softball leagues and
Oh,
they
yeah.
played
What
against
did
each
they,
other.
it was called the Derelict Bar League.
Derelict
Yeah.
Bar League. Oh
Yeah.
my God, just the name of it sounds fucking
and it
epic.
contains two of the bars we've already been to. The
That's
Duchess,
right. Yep.
the Zoo.
We can make the
Blue
connections.
Moon.
Yep.
Well,
we
and it's
can make
probably
those
not going to be the
connections.
last, so I think this is going to be something we're going to be
Cool
exploring
ongoing
again
story.
down the road. Yeah.
All right, we
be
might have to
continued.
add like a baseball / softball / sportsing league kind of segment to the podcast or something at some point, because there's clearly history there that we need to unpack.
Well, you
But
wanna
that
do-
is for another episode. All right, we're wrapping it up. This has been Good Lights and Sip Drinks. Thanks for listening. It's been Jeremy, Brad, Lou, and Bob. We will see you next time.
Until next time.